Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of GICTV Presents. Today, we have a very special show for you, as usual, every week. We like to bring very interesting, very informative, very empowering guests onto our Thursday GICTV show here on the GIC.org. My name is Bernard Alvarez. I am the Empowerment Director for the Global Illumination Council, aka the GIC. Today we're going to be speaking with Ilya Nabutovsky and Neil Guar of Portal to Ascension. And we're going to get to know them a little bit more. We're going to get to know a little bit about their story, what brought them to working with the light, for lack of a better term. And of course, we're going to talk about the very well-known and very popular Portal to Ascension group, as well as the website. And the big thing today will be speaking about the Cosmic Reunion 2012 conference that is coming up in California. So without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome Ilya Nabutovsky. Ilya's here with us already. We're going to be joining with Neil in just a few moments. But in the meantime, let me turn the camera over to Ilya and welcome him. Hello, Ilya. How are you? Good to see your
Hi,
face.
Bernard. I'm doing awesome. It's
Good.
so great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing very good today. It's been weird. I don't know. The last week or so, maybe you could talk about this as well. I've been having what people are telling me are quantum ascension symptoms, and I've been feeling very nauseous the last week, as well. I've been feeling a little discombobulated, but right now I'm feeling very grounded for our show, so I'm very grateful for that. So I just want to welcome you to GIC TV, and it's great to see your face. I know we get to talk a lot on the internet, and we get to talk on the radio, but I think this is our first face-to-face talk. So welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you, brother. I've actually haven't heard that term that you used about the ascension symptoms. I know these ascension symptoms are quite frequent on the internet, but me personally, I've definitely been experiencing things here and there, but I haven't been experiencing anything as severe as nausea or anything like that, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
But I feel that a lot of these ascension symptoms that people talk about that are quote-unquote negative, I feel can sometimes be an excuse to kind of cover up something that's going on within themselves that they're not dealing with. So I feel it's really important to really look at, what's going on with you, and, face whatever's happening in your experience so that you can move forward in life regardless of what's going on around you, so that you can still be in a positive space, in a loving space, and in a compassionate frame of mind.
That's a very good point, Ilya. I know a lot of people, well, I don't know a lot of people, but I see on the internet where it can be very easily, we could easily blame any ache or pain or discomfort to Ascension, whereas it could actually be something as simple as a psychological imbalance, or it could be a dietary imbalance. Now, while we're waiting for Neil, I hope you don't mind if we talk about this for a minute or two before
No,
we
not
go
at all.
deeper. I will say it's funny because I was going to say something to the fact that I'm wondering if it was psychosomatic for me, or is it what's the word I'm looking for? Your body, I don't know, whatever. Nutritional, for lack of a better term. I'm trying to think of the correct term. But when we had Inelia Benz on last week, she was talking about how it was very difficult for her to eat specific foods. And quite honestly, I was vegetarian for a month. I did a vegetarian cleanse. And now that I'm slowly reintroducing meat, and I don't mean meat, I mean like chicken, tuna, light things, nothing heavy. Slowly reintroducing it into my diet, I'm finding that today was a good example. I made the mistake of doing like a toaster strudel, and that got me really, really nauseous. So I'm wondering if maybe perhaps I cleansed myself too much, and now reintroducing these heavier foods might be making me feel nauseous. However, I will say on Saturday I had the same symptoms, and I had done nothing Friday different than I'd done in the past, eating veggie burgers and trying to be somewhat healthy. But I do appreciate what you said, because people will try to place blame or not place blame, but fall into that, like, oh, it's not me, it's Ascension. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because just a week ago, Neil and I and his girlfriend, we all did the Master Cleanse together.
Oh,
and
did you?
yeah, it wasn't actually just a regular Master Cleanse. It was the David Wolf superhero, super duper Master Cleanse with superfoods and super herbs.
Oh, wow.
And after that, we actually started eating more organic, more vegetables. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because we've also, been doing very similar things. So I feel that maybe the nutritional aspect of this whole Ascension is coming into play for some people at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate with that. My body seems to be, again, trying to guide me in a better direction as far as nutrition is concerned. And I don't know if maybe too much coffee and toaster strudel just was too much for me today.
Right. Well, you just got to listen to your body, and sometimes, sometimes people can't be fully raw or fully vegan, because everybody's different, and so you just have to listen to what your body wants and be a heartitarian. Listen to your heart.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
I think
what I feel.
And that's a very good point to make. I feel that goes with all of our aspects of our lives right now, that we begin to listen to our heart, we begin to listen to our intuition, and allow ourselves to be guided. There was a book years ago, gosh, I'm not even going to remember it now, but it was something under the heading, which I found a very strange heading for a bookstore, and this was back in the 90s. A bookstore had a heading, a category called Cyber Shamanism, and I have no idea what the heck they meant by that. But there was a book about traveling between the two worlds. And the book itself was about this, I guess it was a psychiatrist or somebody who did some kind of like weird experiment where they had disconnected somebody's left hemisphere from their right hemisphere. And it showed how the book was very interesting. I mean, I don't like the idea of experimenting that way. I think it's very inhumane. However, what it showed was the left body, which I guess is a part of the right brain, and vice versa. The right body is considered a part of the left brain. They were fighting over what food to eat. And like one would want the vegetables and the other one wanted the cheese fries, and they would like literally fight each other arm to arm, trying to get the healthier stuff or the more unhealthy stuff. But for me, I always think of that when I think of intuition and doing what's right for us, because we're always, we seem to be in a battle to be head over heart or heart over head a lot.
So, it's interesting you mentioned that, because when we were doing our cleanse and we weren't eating any solid foods and we were driving on the street, passing by all these, fast food joints and all these restaurants, my body would be attracted to pretty much everything, anywhere from hot dogs to burgers to whatever it is that I saw on the billboard. And it's interesting that you mentioned the left and right brain, because I feel that when I was cleansing, the left brain part of me, the masculine part of me, the linear part of me, wanted the hot dog and the burger, but the intuitive part of me, the right brain, wanted to stay with the cleanse and to eat the vegetables and the superfoods. But there's like this battle going on, and I actually did feel it inside my body. So it's interesting you bring that up.
And that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I hear the third microphone. So hello, Neil. How are you today?
Hey, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Oh, good. And we get to see your face now, too. Very, very good. Great to see you. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on. And I'm very grateful that you and Ilya are here to join us today and talk a little bit about, talk about what we're talking about. And, of course, we're going to go ahead and share our stories, or your stories, with everybody as well. So thank you. And take a breath and settle in. And we'll get to you in just a minute, but I wanted to hear a little bit more about that cleanse, Ilya. When did the cleanse end?
You know, it's hard to say because time is very interesting right now. So I think it was maybe 5-6 days ago. Maybe Neil can give more insight on that.
Guys, somebody is echoing. Is there an open speaker going on?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay. Can we
Let
plug
me
plug the headphones
change
in?
positions.
Plug the headphones on.
Okay, how's that?
I'll let you know as soon as Ilya talks. Hey, Ilya, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Is there
Okay,
still an echo?
echo's gone. Very good.
Okay, great.
So, Neil, speaking about this cleanse, we were just talking a little bit about heart versus head, body versus mind, left brain
Right.
versus right brain, and how we feed ourselves that way. And I asked Ilya about the cleanse, and what was your take? How did your cleanse go, and when did you guys complete it?
It went well. I mean, I've been really unhealthy for a long time, and I eat like whatever I feel like eating, and my body was getting to a point that really felt my consciousness was not keeping up with my body. So when I said to Ilya, let's do the master cleanse, and he goes, no, let's do the super duper superhero master cleanse. And then he showed me the video for David Wolf, and I really liked it. And he had all these different vitamins and different nutrients in our bodies that is an upgraded version of the cleanse that really, you don't starve your body, you get everything that you need, and it's more of a spiritual cleanse.
Oh, good.
So then after that, my body now is craving raw food, craving good food. So we've been eating at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and keeping it going strong.
That's the way to go. Good. Great.
Hmm.
Okay, so wonderful. Well, now that we covered nutrition for the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, let me go ahead and ask you, Ilya, and just for our viewers today, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you came from, how I guess maybe a short condensed version of how you grew up to bring you to this place where you are, I guess, a spokesperson for the light, a warrior for the light, a teacher of the light, someone who espouses such a wonderful love and compassion and clarity.
Sure. Well, I was born in Kazan, Russia in 1989, so you can guess my age. My birthday is actually coming up in September.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I moved away from Russia to Brooklyn, New York when I was 8 years old. And I lived in Brooklyn for 12 years. And growing up in Brooklyn was definitely very interesting due to the melting pot of people there. And I only started getting into all of these metaphysical, esoteric things when I was about 15 years old, when I was on my computer, and I stumbled upon different conspiracy theories, such as 9/11 and Area 51 stuff.
Right.
And that really caught my attention, and so I decided to dive further because there was something in me that really had a desire to know more about who we are and what we're doing here and what's going on that we don't know about. And so I started going deeper into those kinds of things. And when I got older, at about the age of 16, 17, I started getting more into metaphysics and alternative energies and things like radionics, psionics, things like psychokinesis. I was getting into ancient civilizations such as Atlantis and Lemuria and things like that. And as I got older, at about 19, I started really getting into spirituality. And when I got into spirituality, I really understood what was important to me, and it really boiled down to unconditional love. And I feel the reason why I stumbled onto that at that age is because my childhood wasn't the best childhood that a lot of people, I feel that my childhood was definitely very different and not very harmonious. And so there's a lot of negative frequencies, a lot of anger, a lot of fighting, yelling, screaming within my household, pretty much ever since I can remember. And so I feel that I was meant to stumble upon the spirituality so that I can come out of the depression that I was in, come out of the space of anger that I had within me, come out of all the grudges that I was holding on to, because it was literally killing me even at that age. I had extremely low self-esteem. My body was weak, chronic fatigue, things like that. So at that point, I understood that I didn't want to live that way, and the only thing that could really bring me out of that was forgiveness and unconditional love, first and foremost for myself and for everybody else that was close to me. And so at the age of 19, I stumbled upon David Wilcock, maybe at age 17 or 18, and then I went to a conference with David Wilcock in New York when I was 19, where I met a friend of mine from California, and a couple of months after that conference, he invited me to move to California to stay with him. And at 20 years old, I actually moved to California, and I went to Project Camelot's Awaken Aware conference in September of 2009. And when I came into that conference, it was one of the best feelings I've ever had because of the like-minded people that were there, because I finally met someone that was like-minded. I never knew anyone that thought like me or felt like me up until around 19 or 20. And so when I came into that conference and I sat down in my seat, sitting right next to me, just one seat away, was Neil.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, and out of all the young people that were there, which was not very many at that time, Neil and I were one of them, and that's how we met.
Oh, wow, that's great. Well, and it's funny, I'm sitting here watching the chat, and somebody is saying that this is their story also, and it's very similar to many of us who are motivated and drawn to doing this type of work, service for others, service to the universe, and also getting to know our spiritual selves. Seems to be a very common theme when it comes to the early part of our world, for lack of a better term. I know that a good example is that movie The Secret. It's a great reference point. When you watch that movie at the very beginning, she's like, "Oh, my life is falling apart," and this and that. And I think that, or I feel that seems to be a common ground for many of us, that we had to go through the ugly part of life in order to really decide that this is not who we are. This is not something that we're a part of, and pursue hopefully better paths to enlightenment and better paths to help humanity. Absolutely.
Right. It's definitely important to be able to go through the darkness in order to see the light, because you don't know what love is if you don't know what the opposite of that is like. Absolutely.
I'm hearing a lot of clicking in the background. Is there keyboarding going on? Because if we are, can we just mute while we're keyboarding? That's all I'm asking. I'm wondering if I just don't want anybody to be distracted while we're hearing this. But in the meantime, I'm going to switch it over to Neil and ask Neil. Neil, how are you today?
I'm doing good, brother.
Wonderful. And tell everybody who's watching today where you came from, okay, and what was your process of coming into this wonderful work that you've done. And maybe you can even take it a little bit further and share with us how Portal to Ascension came about.
Sure. So I was born in Hounslow, England, in West London. And when I was 12, I came to the States, to Irvine, California. And I always felt when I was a child that I was kind of out of place. I was questioning a lot of things and wondering why I'm here. And I'd question God a lot. I used to call myself an atheist Hindu because I was born and raised Hindu, but I'd followed the traditions of Hinduism, but I never really believed in it. I just did what my family raised me to believe. And then when I came, probably around in 2001, I came across information about the Illuminati and Masons. And through that, I found information on Jordan Maxwell and the Anunnaki. So I really, like, in 2001, when I just started college, I was 19, I really went into the victim consciousness of a lot of things and how we were slaves and how these ETs came down and genetically mutated us. So I was really passionate about letting everyone know about this. And in 2002, I actually had a dream, and the dream was 2012 consciousness, mind, evolution, and presence was like the phrase that came to me. So the next day I created a Facebook group called 2012 Consciousness, Mind, Evolution, and Presence. And at that point I really didn't know what 2012 was or what ever new consciousness was and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden hundreds and hundreds of people, and then into the thousands within the next couple of years, started joining the group. And through the thread and through all the information people were sharing, I really started learning more things about metaphysics and quantum physics and how we're connected to the stars. So that like continued on. I really, through all that information in metaphysics, I really began to adopt my own religion, Hinduism, and explore other things. And 2012 Consciousness, the group name morphed to Portal to Ascension by around 2005. And I started looking into not just how we're connected to the stars, but how all religions come from one source, and kind of doing research on where we came from and what was the original religion, if there was one, and then why are all these religions and dogmatic traditions all over the world. And then in 2008, I started getting into like a lot of not the victim consciousness about the Anunnaki anymore, but more about the benevolent beings and how we came from the cosmos and how we are these beings really incarnated into human form. So through that, like basically, I used to really think that it was all about being positive, and then just like Ilya said, I really started embracing that darkness teaches us the beauty of the light, and rather than ignoring what I'm going through, which I would quote as darkness, I really started delving through my own insecurities and my fears and my upbringing in order to transcend a lot of things and come into the light. So at this point right now, I'm in that process of working through it, but I really do feel that that my purpose on Earth is to spread this awareness of vibration and consciousness so that we can shift into a higher octave.
Nice, wonderful. And again, it relates a lot to my story, and I'm sure it relates a lot to everybody else's story who's watching us today. One of the points that I wanted to just expand on for just a minute, and maybe each of you could help us all understand this when I bring it up here, is there seems to be, or there seemed to have been, I know I have been doing this work now publicly on the internet and with GIC and whatnot for about 5-6 years now. And at the beginning, there seemed to have been a very big, I don't want to say a split or a divisiveness, but it's very fair to say, and it still does rear its head once in a while, where when we are, let's say, sharing information about the Illuminati, or sharing information about, well, like today, Julian Assange and the Ecuador situation and the corruption in the government, we get a lot of people that are like, oh, this is very negative. This is not what I want to project and create in my world and whatnot. But what I'm seeing here lately is that we are finally creating that balance where being informed is not necessarily being taken as being negative. So I was wondering I know that you all have been very involved in some of the work of Jordan Maxwell and Carrie Cassidy and whatnot, that how much of that has come into play, and how do you create that balance of seeing information that is disturbing but using it for empowerment?
Yeah, I can I can take that one. Well, as I said, when I was younger, I was really into the conspiracies and the Illuminati and the Freemasons and the dark rituals and the horrific things that were going on. And at that point, just like Neil, I didn't know what to do with it because I saw all the negativity and I felt like the world is negative. And now I feel with what you said is that people are aware of the negativity, but a lot of people don't actually see that as quote-unquote negative anymore. They just see it as an experience that is occurring in this world. and they're taking responsibility for what's happening, in terms of taking action to better themselves, to send out more positive energy into the world, to transmute the other experiences that are quote unquote negative or less than positive. So I feel like people are definitely taking more responsibility and taking action instead of being a victim to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Neil, what's your take on this? How are we finally bringing some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of solution with the fact that yes, there is icky things out there, but how can we transmute the ugly into something positive?
Right. I truly feel that the reason that we're here is to experience that the polarity is part of the game and the illusion that we're here to experience. So when we transcend the polarity of good, bad, and right or wrong, and we realize the purpose that we're here at a higher vibration, that we will consciously make our decisions and choices. So all this stuff that I learned about conspiracies and how we're victims, really I had to embrace the fact that the purpose we're here is to experience duality, and through the duality we can get back to one. So I just feel that it's all experience, and even though I get caught up in the polarity too quite a lot, I meditate on the fact that this is all happening for a reason, and then that's what really gets me over and gets me to the next point of my evolution.
Absolutely. And I don't want to give a plug here, but I just got to tell you that in the beginning, I think all of us kind of got a little hooked in with Abraham Hicks, and Esther always says something that if it makes you feel bad, that means it's pushing you in the direction where you need to go. So it's not bad. It's just something to let you know that that's something you do not want. So knowing what we do not want is actually the beginning and the foundation of creating a better world. And I kind of like that definition myself.
Yeah, and just to chime in here, in the New Age movement, a lot of people talk about acceptance of what's occurring, and there's definitely truth to that. But I also feel like it's unacceptable to accept that which we know that we do not want. So as opposed to just accepting the experience, we definitely need to take action to make the change. And I feel that's a really important step. Not just to be, but also to do. So have that balance, as you were saying.
Absolutely. And you know what? You made a very, very, very important point, Ilya, that, yes, within the New Age movement, there is a rally cry of ignoring the ugly. We cannot ignore the ugly. Mm-hmm. To ignore the ugly is ignoring half of the whole. And to ignore the darkness is to ignore half of the light, because we need darkness in order to see light and have that contrast. And just like Neil said, there is a polarity going on, and in order for us to move into that oneness, we must master. The way that I was taught is that we master all the planes of consciousness, and those planes of consciousness might entail the ugliness of the world. A great example, my father used to tell me, and it was funny because now that I'm getting older, I appreciate his little mottos and whatnot. But he used to say to me, "If you want to beat the devil, if you want to beat the devil, you have to beat him at his own game." So, in other words, you have to get down into the mud and be able to mud wrestle him down, for lack of a better term. But that's what I got out of it. So thank you for that. Thank you. I think that's very important that we don't, and I'm sure you have both experienced this. I have friends of mine that their family call them like a New Age fluff bunny, or things like that. Like, oh, everything's all unicorns and rainbows. And no, for me, real spirituality, real metaphysics, real New Age awareness is not New Age fluff bunny, rainbows, and unicorns. It's understanding the ugly as well as the divine. Well, the ugly is a part of the divine, is it not?
Yes.
Definitely.
You know, how do we create balance in our lives with that? But we'll leave that for another show because we can get really heavy duty in this show, and we're gonna have to have you come back and talk more about the metaphysics of our beliefs. But we're almost halfway through. I can't believe it. It's going by so quickly. I love these conversations with like-minded people. So. Portal to Ascension is also a website as well as a Facebook group. Is that correct?
Yeah. We have a website, portaltoascension.org, and we do have quite a bit of Facebook groups. We have Portal to Ascension, Portal to Ascension 2, Portal to Ascension California, Portal to Ascension New York. What else do we have, Neil? Canada,
UK.
Ah. So it's even bigger than the group that I belong to.
Right.
I love the idea of the group, by the way. I love groups more than pages because I think you get more interaction out of a group than a page. But and I kind of resent the fact I never put together a GIC group. But I love the Portal to Ascension group. I think the people that are on there, I mean, you have everybody in there from Alfred to Laura to Miriam to me to Ilya to you.
Right.
I mean, it's like everybody in the movement is kind of on that group, and I really enjoy that. As far as the group is concerned, can anybody basically join the group, or I forget what the... Do they have to be invited, or is it a public group? Is it a private group?
It's a public group, and anyone can join it.
Oh, good. Good.
We also have a fan page called Ascension Stargate because we capped out on groups, so we added a fan page just to be able to branch out to more people.
Really? I'm seeing something. Let me just check. I'm seeing that the stream might be down, so let me just double check that, and forgive me if it's fine, but I just want to see that. If someone is on the chat, can you let me know if the stream is still going? Oh, it's up now. Okay, thank you, James. Oh, good. It wasn't from my end for once. It might have just been the internet. But as you were saying, Neil, I'm sorry to disrupt you.
Yeah, we actually have personal accounts also. Ilya has Love Vibration, and I facilitate Cosmic Consciousness, and we tapped out of 5,000 friends. So Facebook kind of forced us to create a fan page because we had too many friends.
Yeah.
And then Ascension Stargate was created.
Oh, okay. So the new one is Ascension Stargate.
Right.
Wonderful. Tell us about the website. How long has the website been around? How is it doing? Is it a community? Is it a blog? Is it a little bit of everything?
Well, right now, our website is mainly dedicated to our event, Cosmic Reunion 2012, which is the 2-day conference that we have coming up in November. We are still working on our website. Every day we're developing new features and things like that, and so it's definitely still in its early stages, but we're going to be adding a lot more things, such as a store where people can purchase our merchandise. We have Tibetan singing bowls, tuning forks, things like that. We do sound healings. But yeah, right now it's mostly focused upon this conference that we have coming up.
Wonderful. And as far as the conference, Cosmic Reunion 2012, can you share with everybody the motivation to creating this particular conference at this time, with the intention and the people that you have getting involved with it?
Sure. Well, the Cosmic Reunion 2012 conference was created in order to raise awareness about our star family, about unconditional love, and how we are connected not only to the stars, but to ourselves and to all that is. And so all the speakers that are going to be presenting at this conference have some form of experience. Either they have been contacted by various beings, or they actually met them, or they had experiences with them. So the whole premise of it is essentially to get in touch with our star family and get in touch with our own star self, because we have, we're multidimensional.
We are a star,
so we have we have lives in other places as well. So it's about raising vibration. It's about connecting to unconditional love, the source of ourselves, and at the same time connecting to our star family and really expanding what we know about creation. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what it's about.
Nice, wonderful. And Neil, could you tell us a little bit about some of the guests that might be coming, or that are coming? I know that Miriam is going to be doing a live feed into the conference, and of course she's very connected to the Star family. Tell us a little bit about some of the other guests that are going to be coming. I know Peter Sterling is coming. He's been a guest on our show several times. He's wonderful. And go ahead and share a little bit about some of the guests.
Okay. Yeah, Peter Sterling will be there. He's a great friend of ours. We're doing an expo this next weekend on the 24th, where Peter's going to be speaking to the Holistic Expo in San Diego. And he'll be performing harp music, and we have a friend coming with a hung drum, so he'll be a part of the Sound of Vibration experience, and also talking about his trips on board the Gray hybrid spaceships. So that'll be his segment. And Mike Schultz will be there. He's a historian researcher based out of LA, and he does a lot of information on the Anunnaki. I particularly like him because he ties it into metaphysics and purpose for our existence here. He doesn't really just concentrate on the fact linearly that the Anunnaki were here and we were slaves, but really ties in the whole spiritual aspect of everything.
Nice.
And then we have Lauren Amberserna, who does sitting transmission meditation. Basically, she does this energy healing where she calls on different ascended masters and star beings, and a lot of people during her experience, during the experience that she facilitates, actually have apparitions of different beings and feel physical movement in their body. Like when she did it for me, I felt almost like a hand was in my body maneuvering my chakras into alignment. And then we have Susan Taylor, who's one of the foremost researchers on crop circles. She's going to be talking about, she has some new information out that she just sent me. Let me see if I can read it off.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. She's speaking on New Thoughts, Cosmic Reunion 2012. Okay, so basically she's just saying here that there's new thoughts on crop circles and their spiritual connection that she's going to be releasing at this expo, at this convention. And Ilya, would you like to speak about Itasha?
Sure. We have this presenter named Tasha, and she's from Arizona, and she is an extremely interesting individual. She was actually picked up as a little baby somewhere in South America, and nobody knows who her parents are. And what happened was, for the past 25 or 30 years, she's been living up in the mountains with the indigenous people, and she's only come out into mainstream civilization about 3 years ago. And she also has been monitored by the NSA for the past 25 years because she has a completely different body than other people. She has an extra lobe in her brain. Her organs are completely different. And she calls herself an Arcturian contactee. And she's able to connect with these Arcturian beings and is able to go into their world and open portals and she has other really interesting talents that most people don't have. And so she's going to be coming and speaking at our conference as well about her experience and how she sees what's going on in the world and what's going to happen in the future as well. Now we also have Cynthia Crawford, who is an ET sculptor from Arizona as well, and she makes sculptures of various beings where she connects with them and she channels what they look like, and then she makes sculptures.
Oh, wow.
She has sculptures of gray beings, mantis beings, humanoids, Syrians, Pleiadians, Andromedans, pretty much the whole thing. So she's a really, really good friend of mine, and we're very connected, and so I'm really honored that she's going to be there. And, of course, we have Daryl Anka, who will be channeling Bashar, who many people are familiar with, Bashar, has been coming through Daryl for the past 27 years and has really changed the world, as I feel, with the information that has been coming through Daryl. And so he's our main speaker on Saturday night. So we're really excited to have Bashar there as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And we also have our friend Ashwin Faranachi, who lives here in Southern California. And about 3 months ago, Ashwin had an experience where before this time, he was just like anybody else. He was living his life, didn't know anything about spirituality, metaphysics, consciousness, nothing. He was a regular person, like your regular Joe on the street. And then one day, he was at his computer in Laguna Beach, and he felt inspired to get up, go into his car, and drive to the beach. And when he went to the beach, all of a sudden, he felt like he was going out of body. And before he knew it, he was on a ship with the Elohim. And he was on that ship for about maybe 3 hours or so. I'm not sure exactly, but basically, he in just that one night, he was completely awakened and downloaded with over 70 years worth of information. And so within one night, his life has completely changed. And after speaking with him personally, he's just an incredible being with so much information, and it's going to be really interesting to have him there as well. To have someone that has transformed their life within one night is pretty incredible. So we're really excited for that as well.
It sounds
and
absolutely
I believe
wonderful.
we have one more speaker. Sorry, we have one more speaker, Brad Johnson. Neil, do you want to talk a little bit about Brad?
Sure. So, Brad Johnson, he channels the Syrian consciousness from Sirius 8 named Adronis. And he's a really good friend of ours. We've actually gone on, I believe, 3 tours up and down the coast from here to Vancouver with him, doing ET channeling events in small cities and even in the Bay Area, but random cities wherever there was a metaphysical center that could bring a crowd out to listen to him. We went up and down the coast with him. So he's going to be there and coming down from Vancouver and expressing a lot of information based on the shift. I particularly like Brad's information and Dronis' information because there's a lot of technical information there, and I'm like a technical-minded guy. So it talks about a lot of different civilizations and our galactic history.
I think that's a very important topic for all of us, is our galactic history. You talked a little bit about that in the beginning, and how, well, I don't want to get into too much detail because I want to talk more about the people that are coming. But we do have a question, kind of a question. Maybe it's more of an observation. Someone is saying the Elohim live on a ship. This is new information. Does anybody know anything about this, or will that be more explained more at the actual conference?
I'm not too familiar with that. I feel that Ashwin would probably have more insight about that.
Absolutely. It reminds me of, what was that gentleman's name? The race car driver who got taken up on a ship. With actually, I believe he thought it was, well, he identified him as just, oh gosh, I can't remember their name. Anyway, it's a whole group out there, the Raelians. And how he went up on a ship and spoke to the Elohim as well. So it's very interesting because there's a lot, and this is, I guess maybe this is a controversial question because a lot of people feel that the Elohim might have been the one to enslave the planet. So it would be wonderful to hear from the source themselves, as someone who's actually been in contact with them. So maybe you can go to the conference and ask him, and he will give you the answers that you're looking for. I think that's very important. And tell us about the location of the conference and the date.
The location is in Culver City. It's in Los Angeles, and the date is November 24th and 25th. And it's going to be 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. The speakers begin at 10 and go to 7. and November 24th and 25th is actually Thanksgiving weekend. And
nice.
So another cornerstone of the conference is giving thanks and having gratitude for our star family, for them being here, assisting us in raising our vibration and shifting more into love and shifting more into who we are with their assistance. So we're going to kind of tie that in there with Thanksgiving.
Wonderful. And of course we mentioned Miriam Delicato, but has she spoken to you about what she wants to talk about, or is she just going to channel, for lack of a better term? I know Miriam, she's like, just let me flow, just let me flow. Is she flowing, or does she have a topic?
I feel it's going to be a combination of both. She's going to be talking about our connection to our star family and the Earth. And I feel like she's also going to bring in the indigenous people and the Great Gathering aspect of it all. So I feel like it's going to be a combination of flowing and focusing on the topic at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so I just wanted to put this out there for all of our viewers that the reason why I got to know Ilya was working with the Great Gathering. Ilya is one of the hosts for the Great Gathering radio show. I know you haven't had any radio shows lately, but are you still on the project, Ilya?
Yeah, we're still in the process of creating the Great Gathering, and we're definitely going to be bringing the radio show back as soon as we have some things settled in, as soon as everything's in alignment. But yeah, we're definitely still together, working on it and moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful to have someone like you on this project. I don't know if anybody understands the Great Gathering. Miriam has done a very good job of bringing in so many different communities, so many different leaders, speakers, and whatnot to focus on this particular project. And yes, the GIC is very much a part of it, as you can tell. We have Miriam on the show all the time, and I will say, and I think it's a good point to bring up at this moment, that it's wonderful how we're starting to see, we're talking about Cosmic Reunion 2012, how we're starting to see all the different quote-unquote spiritual families, spiritual communities now starting to join together to really support each other. And I don't want to say create a unified voice, but at least create a dialogue that we all can work with. And I was wondering if any of that had to do with. So before we were disconnected, I was asking, what was the motivating factor? Is some of the factor bringing us all back together again? Are we finally reuniting as a cosmic family?
Yeah, exactly. As I was saying, the cosmic family are not just the ETs that we look up to. They are us. We are the cosmic family, and we are here on Earth coming together. And it's about reconnecting with ourselves firstly, and once we truly reconnect with ourselves, then we can expand and reconnect with our brothers and sisters and cousins out in the universe.
And thank you for explaining that like that. I haven't heard that aspect of it. Many of us focus on our earthbound families and our earthbound communities, and to extend it out there universally is very important, and a very important aspect for all of us to really take a look at and take to heart. So Thank you for that, Ilya. And your take, Neil, what's your feeling of all of us finally coming together? How does it feel, and what do you see happening?
I feel that first off, we need to come together as an Earth family, and through the energy of inclusion rather than seclusion, which has been the Illuminati and the elitist energy. Through the energy of seclusion, we could really transcend any magic out there or any energy that has been trying to hold us down and keep us a victim. So this isn't only about connecting with the universe, but it's about bringing together local communities, local vendors, conscious musicians, so we can all come together to celebrate our own divinity.
It's a celebration of our earthbound selves, I guess, for lack of a better term. I think that it's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah,
celebrate one each other.
It's a celebration of our earthbound selves, and but it's a celebration and a welcoming of everything in creation, and even the beings, especially the beings that are out there that have been here to support us, and that we truly are incarnate in human form.
That's great, and I think I have a. For me, this is a question that I would like to know: is you both are such beautiful beings. You both have such a wonderful energy, and a way of expressing the truth from your heart. Is there any chance that you guys will be speaking a little bit during the conference?
I need to overcome some.
Well, right now. Well, right now we're giving the time to the presenters, but we're definitely going to be a part of it, and introducing some speakers and stuff like that. But right now, at this point, we're mostly the facilitators and the ones that hold space for people who have a little bit more experience in this field. So, but we never know.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I still have those moments myself. Meanwhile, I'm ready to take on a 3-hour talk. And I'm sure both of you, when we speak from our heart, we can always just share the truth, just honestly and whatnot. But so we look forward to learning more about you, Ilya, and about you, Neil. I think you both have a wonderful message to provide the planet. I believe that the work that you're doing with this conference is very, very important, not only for your own spirit, but for the spirit of humanity and for the spiritual community that's out there at large. You've definitely already proven yourself and proven your dedication and your commitment with all the work that you both have done, and Neil especially with Portal to Ascension and all the other pages. So, I mean, your commitment is very obvious, and we're very, very grateful to have you here on the planet at this time doing the work that you're doing for all of us. So thank you very much for everything that you're doing. Thank you very much for joining me today here on GICTV and sharing what message you have and sharing the work that you're doing with Portal to Ascension and the Cosmic Reunion 2012. Before we go, we're running out of time here. We have about another 2 minutes left, and I know we got cheated out of one of them. However, can you please share with us where can people get more information?
Sure. You can get more information about who we are and the conference at www.portaltoascension.org. That's portaltoascension.org. And the tickets for both days are only $99, and it's in Los Angeles on November 24th and 25th. So we're looking forward to seeing you all there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I do this to everybody on the show, and I don't know if I've done it to you yet on the radio show, because you have been on the radio show. But what would be your final two-sentence message to humanity before we go?
Neil, you want to take this one first?
Sure. My 2 sentences would be, we're not alone, and I love you. 1 sentence.
That's beautiful.
I would say love is truth and all else is illusion.
Oh, very good. And very true. Very, very true. Thank you very, very much, Neil Var and Ilya Nebutovsky, for joining us for this hour here on GICTV. This video will be available on YouTube probably tomorrow afternoon. And if anybody has any questions, you can reach Neil and Ilya either through Facebook, through Portal to Ascension, and of course at portaltoascension.org. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
.org. Very good. We will be coming back. GIC will be back on Monday on GIC Radio. I'm not sure if we have a guest. It might just be me doing a class. I'm not quite sure. I think I was talking about doing a class for the next 2 weeks, so we might be doing that instead. However, I just want to welcome all of our new members. We have a huge influx of new members, thanks to Anelia Benz, and I want to welcome all of you to our community and to our space here, and please make yourself at home. As well, you can always check out the archives here on the GICTV player, and also on our YouTube channel. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. We will be following up this particular show live with our Thursday happy hour. So if you want to hang around and chat, you can just go over to the GIC.org, and we'll see you there in just a few moments. Thank you again, Neil, and thank you again, Ilya. It was great speaking to you guys live. And it's wonderful because what's so funny, I just got to throw this in at the last second for a little giggle, is I wanted you guys to come on GIC TV because we had a little technical issues on the radio. This time the technical issue was on my side, so I guess now we're equal. I look forward to having you guys on again, maybe after the conference or even right before the conference. You can come on and maybe grease your heels and sharing your own stories and your own metaphysical philosophies. I would love that. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. We love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bernard. Blessings. Bye.
Blessings.